So we ended Monday Night Raw in a very surprising way. We had Ambrose versus Rollins in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Just when you thought their matches couldn't get any better opposed to that lumberjack match, they completely blow expectations out of the water again.
Exactly. We have another awesome match between these two guys who really just, can't help but be the most entertaining part of Monday Night Raw every single week.
Oh, yeah, it's such a burden on them. They can't help it.
They can't help but be awesome. So anyway, the moment everyone's talking about, of course, was the curb stomp or blackout onto the cinder blocks to Dean Ambrose, basically making it so that he had to be carried out on a stretcher. So this led us to believe that they were writing off Dean Ambrose to be starring in a WWE Films movie called Lockdown.
Yeah.
Which is not to be confused with Lethal Lockdown from Impact Wrestling. But so Ambrose is off TV for at least a month, maybe more. How do you feel about this?
I don't know. It's cool that Ambrose is going to be in a movie because I've always said he'd be a really good actor. But at the same time, now we don't get Dean Ambrose for a month, and they're ending the best thing on the card just while it's still picking up steam.
Absolutely. I mean, as much as I'd love to see Dean Ambrose act in a movie, and I know he's going to, knock it out of the park and be awesome.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose, this is the guy who's just getting hot, and you're going to take him off TV. Hopefully it's not too long, but I feel like, he's really picking up steam, and now it's just gone. Like you said, the best part about, Monday Night Raw is going to be gone. So, I'm really sad about this, and this kind of led me to think we have, Ambrose out, Daniel Bryan's out, Lesnar's not going to be on TV every week. John Cena, we don't even know what's going to happen with John Cena right now. What is going to fill the void? What do they need to do to keep people watching? Because, they've got a lot of star power now kind of off the show.
That's a great question. Who do they have left? They have Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Cesaro, I guess.
Cesaro's kind of been inconsistent with the way that they've been booking him. We have no idea. RVD's going to be off TV. Jericho's leaving.
We got Bray Wyatt.
Of course we have Bray Wyatt. It's just interesting though, because now our champion isn't going to be on TV every week, so they sort of need everyone more now than ever. I think John Cena won't be away too long. He might have just missed this Raw to sell his injury. He'll probably be back for a rematch at Night of Champions, whether that's going to be a straight-up singles match, a different type of match, or even a triple threat or fatal four-way. We have no idea, but I fully expect John Cena to at least get a rematch there. We know he's got movies to film too, so there's going to be a lot of star power kind of in and out of the show for a little while. So this really means that Roman Reigns has to be the guy to sort of step up here.
It's almost kind of a blessing for Roman Reigns because, no offense to Roman, but he was getting completely outshunned by Rollins and Ambrose in that feud, and now it's kind of taken out the competition for him.
Yeah, if there was ever an opportunity, and this guy is going to get every opportunity as long as he runs with it. Roman Reigns, this really could be his time to truly establish himself, set himself apart, really make himself be built up to be the guy. As we were talking before, who's going to beat Lesnar for the title? Everyone has every belief to believe that WWE wants it to be Reigns, and it's really pretty much up to Reigns if he's going to be that guy.
What if it's Ambrose? Think about it. It's possible. Even though Ambrose got carried away on a stretcher last night, think about how strong they made him look. He kicked out of a sit-down powerbomb onto a pile of steel chairs, definitively kicked out at two.
Which was amazing.
That was an amazing spot.
That's how it could be. We could be seeing a very similar situation to last year's Royal Rumble, where maybe Reigns is sort of that Batista, where, you know,
and
that's
Ambrose
the guy
is
that
Daniel
they
Bryan.
want. And Ambrose is Daniel Bryan, exactly, where the crowd is kind of clamoring for that. I mean, there's just sort of this way now that fans are, where they sort of just want to reject whoever WWE wants us to like, and sort of like who they want to like.
I mean, really, more than ever, superstars live and die with how the fans accept them. Because, I mean, Batista is the poster boy for that. He was supposed to come back, be the big guy, win the big match at WrestleMania, and everybody just rejected him.
Yeah, and it's not even Batista's fault in any way.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, he was sort of a victim of circumstance, where he just happened to come in to a situation where Daniel Bryan was getting really hot and everyone wanted to see him succeed and everyone was going crazy for him. It didn't matter who it was. Maybe only a few names like Stone Cold Steve Austin or someone like that. Pretty much only Stone Cold Steve Austin could have probably come in there and the fans would have been like, okay, we'll watch Austin win the title at WrestleMania.
Pretty much, yeah.
But pretty much anyone else, the fans were going to reject. CM Punk might have been able to get away with it.
I don't even know if he would over Daniel Bryan.
I don't know either, to be honest. We can't really say one way or the other. But, I mean, the truth is, Batista, guy who, that's guy who the fans do, can really like and get behind.
Like, I remember being pumped for when Batista was announced to come back, and then he did.
That first week, everyone was all over him. Everyone loved him. But then when, a guy comes back who's been away, wins the Royal Rumble, as opposed to the guy that they've been cheering for all year, that's when those feelings changed.
Mm-hmm.
So we could see that again, depending on, how they do things. If Ambrose just sort of becomes the guy that the fans accept more.
So you mentioned Bray Wyatt. Do you think, when you think Bray Wyatt, do you think about the title picture at all? Because personally, I don't. I just can't see Bray Wyatt being a contender for a champion. He's a great wrestler and he could totally do it, but character-wise, I just can't see it.
I mean, he was involved in that Money in the Bank title match.
But so even that, it felt awkward. That, why is Bray Wyatt in this match?
It's true. His character doesn't really need the championship. But then you could say the same thing about Undertaker before he won the championship.
Yeah.
It's eventually, he's going to win a championship eventually.
But at the same time, think about until late in his career when he was the top guy on SmackDown, think about how many titles The Undertaker actually won. And for the time that he was around, it's very, very minuscule.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, you could say with Bray Wyatt, his character doesn't really need the championship. There's so many things you can do with feuds that he's involved with where it doesn't need the title to be entertaining. So, I mean, they may never, get to that level with Bray Wyatt where they want him to have the championship. I'd still like to see him win a championship. I think you could build a story around it where, if he's the champion, he has
the power or something like that. He has the power.
Everyone has to, follow him or whatever. They could do a million things. So, Bray Wyatt could absolutely win a championship down the line. I mean, his Wyatt family, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan were chasing the tag titles for a while. So obviously molded into there is them trying to win championships.
Yeah.
And we saw them win the championships in NXT and, how they handle it there. So clearly there's a way to do it, but like you were saying, they don't need it as much as, maybe other wrestlers would.
Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns lives and dies with his first title reign.
His title reign.
Yeah, his title reigns.
Reigns.
Reigns. Roman's reign. Yeah, that's it.
Roman's reign will be very key.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is the guy. I know we're kind of flipping between Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt here, but
it's still all the same big discussion.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, Reigns is really the guy where it's all there for the taking, and it's completely on him. And we'll kind of jump back to SummerSlam. What did you think about his match with Randy Orton? We said this was sort of his real first big test.
I mean, it was an all right match. It was good. It was a really good match that involved Randy Orton's and Roman Reigns. There was nothing super special about it. Like, you had your big RKO spot. It felt like a Randy Orton match, if you know what I mean by that. It kind of went through the motions that a match involving Randy Orton usually has. There was nothing special. Personally, I think the finish was a little subpar. The spear looked kind of
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. It was not necessarily bad by any means at all. I don't
think it was the breakout moment that everybody expected Roman Reigns to have, but at the same time, it wasn't detrimental to Roman Reigns. Like, it didn't feel like a step backwards. It still felt like he's at the exact same place he was before SummerSlam.
Exactly. I mean, I would say he's a little bit above that because I hadn't really seen too many outings from Roman Reigns and from a singles perspective that really were that impressive, but I thought this was a good match.
Yeah.
That, it was not bad at all. Then again, you're in there with Randy Orton, who's about the smoothest worker there is.
Yeah.
And, it was a great match. I enjoyed the way that they kind of played off the RKO and everything, where he was going for the spear or whatever, Superman punch,
and then just
the RKO.
Bam,
but
it
was
nowhere.
very standard. There wasn't a lot of false finishes. It didn't necessarily need that, though, because I think they wanted to establish that spear is, you hit that on even a top guy and he's going down.
But I mean, it was just like you have a checklist of all the moves that Randy Orton does, and you have a checklist of all the moves that Roman Reigns does. They just filled those check boxes.
Absolutely. I mean, the same way you could say basically that if this could be a Raw match.
Yeah, totally.
It wasn't this high quality pay-per-view match. It was a good match.
Exactly.
And it would be a good match on Raw. The best part was probably Orton's awesome power slam counter from the spear.
That was sick. Beyond belief.
Just that the way Orton does that power slam is just it's art, really. So yeah, I mean, Roman Reigns, I feel like if he's going to be the guy to take down Brock Lesnar,
they have a lot of work to do.
Exactly. He's got a long road ahead of him, which kind of just quickly makes me think, I think it would be way too soon if he was to be that guy. Because, I mean, you look at a guy like Cena. I mean, how long was he in the mid-card and all that before he got that opportunity? I feel like...
Not that long. Maybe 2 years?
Well,
tops.
I mean, he debuted in 2002 and didn't win his first championship till 2005, so...
But he really started being established around the time when he started feuding with Kurt Angle and The Undertaker on SmackDown. And then he really picked up steam around the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania 2000 year, I guess. That'd be 2004.
So it was about 2.5 years.
Give or take.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about
count...
Roman Reigns debuting around last Survivor Series, 2 Survivor Series ago now, like, it's kind of hitting the same mark.
Yeah, I guess you're right if you're counting the whole run as the Shield. It's just his whole run as a singles wrestler is still very new. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we still got a lot of time till WrestleMania. I mean, like I said, we love to get ahead of ourselves here. We're already thinking about WrestleMania 31.
But I mean, with the situation with the championship's in, you kind of have to.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't help but think about it because we're trying to rack our brains for who's going to take down Brock Lesnar. When you convincingly beat up and take down
the guy,
the guy in that way, you're left to think, well, who the hell is going to stop him?
Yeah.
So let's leave that open. Hey, why don't you guys leave us a comment? If you don't think it's going to be Roman Reigns, tweet us at Byte That Cast, leave a comment on YouTube. Who should be the guy to dethrone Brock Lesnar after a convincing victory over John Cena? Let us know, and we'd love to read some of your answers on next week.